Hi, I'm Judy Kessinger, and I'm the creator of the Fit Nice system. I designed this system to make your sewing easy. We're going to do the Duchess Coat, and I have the Duchess Coat on. The directions that you will print up, the PDF you print up, have sewing directions to make this. I'm just going to show you how to make the pattern because it's very simple to do. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to start with your master. The reason you start with your master pattern is that you have already fitted this. And once you've fitted it, then you're happy with it. We're never, ever, ever going to cut this up. Everything is made from this pattern. So you're going to need your master pattern. You're going to need your master sleeve pattern. Scotch tape, we couldn't live without it. Marker, and I like to use a black permanent marker when I draw my patterns, but if you want to use another kind of marker, that's fine. Don't use pencil because you can't see where you're drawing. You're going to need patternies to make the pattern. You'll find that on my website. And you're going to need French fuse to put on the inside of this coat. So it's very, very simple to do. Now, I just taught a class the other day and we all laughed about dusters. If you're my age or older, you remember when we used to call these coats, and I call them tunic length coats, we used to call them dusters. Lady told me why they called them dusters. They said back when people rode around in convertibles, they wore dusters over their clothes to keep the dust off of them because they didn't have paved roads. They had dusty roads. And they used to wear hoods and all that kind of stuff to keep the dust off of them. So I don't care what you call it. I think it's a really cool coat. Now I do want to show you one thing about this coat. I have welt pockets in here and I have the zipper in the welt pocket. There is a video specifically on how to insert the zipper into the welt pocket. So again, your master pattern, your patternies, your French fuse, Scotch tape, a marking pen, and you also want to make sure that you have the pattern, which is on your PDF, for making the mandarin collar. So let's get started. All right, now let's draw. I like my coat, that Duchess coat. I like it 36 inches, 34 inches, but you know what? This is your choice. I'm going to show you how to draw it out of knit, and then I'm going to show you how to make it into woven. As long as you're drawing your pattern, you may as well make them both because it saves you time in the long run. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to measure from the center of the shoulder down to my 36 inches and mark a line because finished this garment is going to be 34 inches, so I need a 2-inch hem. So I have moved this, the center line, about an inch away because I want to add an inch to the center front so that when I put the banding on, and let me show you what I'm talking about. I took this off so you all could see. When I put the banding on, I want to make sure that the bands kiss each other. I don't want any extra because I'm not going to button this. I'm not going to put it, you know, right over left and put buttons and buttonholes. This literally just kisses each other. So that's the way it hangs. If you want it to have buttons and buttonholes, then you need to add more than an inch to the center front, maybe an inch and a half. But I'm just going to add an inch because we can fit this as we're making the garment. And you'll notice that a lot of times on these PDFs, I put a big stop sign. And the stop sign means you need to stop and you need to put it on and fit it to yourself. You're your own best dress form. You're there. So put it on yourself and test it as you go. It's a lot easier. Now, since this is a knit coat, I'm not adding anything to it. If you're going to wear it over a sweater, which I'm not sure you're going to, then you may want to add a ½ an inch to the side seam. I'm not going to do that because, again, this is just a lightweight spring jacket. So the one thing that you do want to do is to draw your center line, because if you draw your center line, then you're absolutely assured that you know where that center front is, and you'll see why I'm doing this in just a second. So I'm just going to draw the center front line onto my new pattern, and you'll be able to see that in just a minute. And then all you have to do is to trace around. That's all we're going to do, is to trace around the neckline. Now remember, this is my master pattern that you're looking at here. So I'm not changing anything. I'm just drawing around the armholes. I've already made this fit me and I'm happy with it. I'm going to draw down the side, and when I get to the bottom of of my t-shirt or of my master pattern, I'm just going to draw a straight line. On the other coats that we've done, I've angled the side a little bit. This one I wanted straighter, so it's just a little bit different look. So that's how easy that is to do. Now, while you have this pattern laying right here, let's draw in your woven line as well, because that way you don't ever have to do this again. You'll have it no matter what kind of fabric you want. I'm only going to add a 1/2 inch because if you've ever been to any of my classes, you know I wear camisoles a lot, like what I have on. So even if I made this out of a woven fabric, I would probably still wear this over a camisole. But it's your coat, not mine. So if you decide that you probably would make this out of woven and put it over a sweater, add 3/4 of an inch. It doesn't, whatever you think is right for you is fine. So this is my woven line, this is my knit line. So let's remove this pattern off of here, like this. And you can see the lines that I've drawn, all right? So on this line, I'm going to write the word knit. And on this line, I'm going to write the word woven. Now, you don't need to change anything else here. It's all on the side seam. Again, you want to do the same thing for your sleeve. You can use your sleeve pattern from your master pattern, but I would suggest you put all of this in an envelope as the Duchess coat. And then there's no guesswork as to where it is. So let's cut this out, and then I'm going to show you how to keep going. Now remember that I drew a knit line and I drew a woven line. So you don't have to do double duty when you do things like this. When you want to make it into a woven, all you have to do is to clip like this, fold this to the inside like this. So there's your knit and there's your woven. It's just as simple as that. There's no reason to do double duty. Now you need to mark on your pattern that this is the Duchess. And you need to write coat. Now, the one reason that I made you do this whole pattern is because I want you to try it on you. I want you to look in the mirror before you go any further, because you may want this longer than I've done mine. You may want this shorter than I've done mine. Shorter's fine. Longer, you need to know how much longer you want it to be. So look in the mirror and you can see exactly what you're looking at. If you decide you need it longer, it's a lot easier to Scotch tape that on there now than it would be to make the coat and wish you had more. So let's check that out. The other thing you need to do is to draw that center line. That's your center front. So we've drawn the center front. We're going to look in a mirror and we're going to line that center front up to us, all right, right in the center of you. And then you're going to mark exactly where your bust is, just like this. Now, I'm going to encourage you again to go back and watch the video on how to make a princess, because that's exactly what this garment is. The only thing that I've done a little bit different on this garment is that I brought the princess up more into the armhole. And the reason I did that is I wanted that definition. I wasn't as interested in the princess as I was the definition between the two pieces of fabric. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This is where mine is. So I'm just going to bring it up in the armhole. Now remember, you have a 1/2 inch seam allowance in here, okay? So you want to leave yourself just a little bit of space from the shoulder to the armhole. How much space is totally up to you. But I'm just going to draw this down like this. Like this, and then I'm going to draw a straight line straight down. So this is my princess line. Let me get this pin out of the way. I'm just going to draw this straight down, and this is my princess line, okay? Again, I am going to encourage you. You have this right in front of you. Go stand in front of a mirror. Is this what you're going to like? Is this the length you like? Is this how far up you want it in the armhole? This is what I love about working with patternees, because you can literally see through it. Now all I'm going to do is to cut that apart, add the 1/2 inch seam, and then we're ready to sew it. This coat has a center back. Can you see this? So it has the princess line in the back as well as the princess line in the front. So I want to make sure that you know that you don't have to draw anything funky in the back. Use the front as your guide. So you can see what I have here is I have a center back cut, and this is the side back, and then I have a center front cut. This is the center front, and I have a side front. So I would mark that on your patterns. It's a lot easier for you to work with. I have added the 1/2 inch seam allowance from everything that I have cut apart, and that way when you sew this back together, you're going to have this beautiful coat. So enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've seen how simple and easy this system is to work with. All of the products you've seen in the video are available on my website or a link on my website. Please make sure while you're there to check out the classes to see where I am. Join me on Facebook under Fit Nice, and be sure to join the Fit Club. Thank you.